Hello everyone, good to see you all again. Let's begin our today's class. Reading comprehension. Comprehension means understanding a passage or writing. It tests our command of the language, our understanding of the given text, and our ability to express what it says in our own words. This is done in a variety of exercises. The most important points to remember are: read the passage twice to understand the main idea given in the passage. Read the questions based on the passage. Search for the answers in the passage. Go through the question and answers again. Write down the answers in your own words. Don't give any comments or opinions. Answers should be clear, brief to the points, and free from irrelevant details. Use the same tense in answering the questions in which they are asked. Revise your answers and check for spelling and grammatical mistakes. Now, here we have a reading comprehension passage from lesson number 27. Passage 1. Read this extract from Annie of Gabriel Green's by Lucy Maud Montgomery and answer the question that follows. The child put out her hand and broke off a branch of a wild plum that bruised against the side of the buggy. Buggy means horse-drawn cart. Isn't that beautiful? What did that tree leaning out from the bank, all white and lacy, make you think of? She asked. Well, now, I do know, said Matthew. Why? A bride, of course. A bride all in white with a lovely misty veil. Misty means foggy and veil means spread out. I have never seen one, but I can imagine what she would look like. I don't expect to be a bride myself, but I am so homely nobody will ever want to marry me unless it might be a foreign missionary. I suppose a foreign missionary might not be very particular. But I do hope that someday I shall have a white dress. That is my highest ideal of earthly bliss. Bliss means happiness. I just love pretty clothes. I have never had a pretty dress in my life that I can remember. But of course, it's all the more to look forward to, isn't it? And then I can imagine that I am dressed gorgeously. This morning, when I left the asylum, I felt so ashamed because I had to wear the horrid old Vincy dress. Asylum means a place of safety where children are kept. Vincy is a fabric made of both linen and wool material. All the orphans had to wear them, you know. Orphans is a person, especially a minor, whose one or both of the parents have died. A merchant in Hope Town last winter donated 300 yards of Vincy to the asylum. Yard means an area of land. Some people said it was because he couldn't sell it, but I would rather believe that it was out of the kindness of his heart. Wouldn't you? When we got onto the train, I felt as if everybody must be looking at me and pitying me. But I just went to work and imagined that I had on the most beautiful pale blue silk dress. Because when you are imagining, you might as well imagine something worthwhile. And a big hat, all flowers and nodding plums. Plums, a feather of a bird. And a gold watch and kid gloves and boots. I felt cheered up right away and I enjoyed my trip to the island with all my might. I wasn't a bit sick coming over in the boat. Sick here means in a poor health. Neither was Mrs. Spencer, who, although she generally is, she said she hadn't time to get sick. Watching to see that I didn't fall overboard. Overboard means outside of a boat. She said she never saw a bead of me for prowling about. Prowling here means to wander over. But if it kept her from being seasick, it's a mercy I did prowl, isn't it? Seasick means a person who is feeling unhealthy or dizziness due to the motion of the ship. And I wanted to see everything that was to be seen on that boat because I didn't know whether I would ever have other opportunity. Oh, there are a lot more cherry trees all in bloom. This island is the bloomiest place. I just love it already, and I'm so glad I'm going to live here. I have always heard that Prince Edward Island was the prettiest place in the world. And I used to imagine I was living here, but I never really expected I would. It's delightful when your imaginations come true, isn't it? But those red roads are so funny. When we got into the train at Cherilot town and the red roads began to flash past, I asked Mrs. Spencer what made them red, and she said she didn't know, and for the pity's sake not to ask her any more questions. She said I must have asked her 1,000 already. I suppose I had too, but how you going to find about things if you don't ask questions? And what does make the roads red? Well, now I do know, said Matthew. Well, that is one of the things to find out sometime. Isn't it splendid to think of all the things there are to find about? It just makes me feel glad to be alive. It's just such an interesting world. It wouldn't be half so interesting if we know all about everything, would it? There would be no scope for imagination then, would there? But am I talking too much? People are always telling me I do. Would you rather I don't talk? If you say so, I will stop. I can stop when I make up my mind to it. Although it's difficult, Matthew, much to his own surprise, was enjoying himself. Like most white fox, he liked talkative people when they are willing to do the talking themselves and did not expect him to keep up his end of it. But he had never expected to enjoy the society of a little girl. So, with this, we complete our passage and let's solve some of the questions. What did the white and lacy tree leaning out from the bank made the little girl think of? The white and lacy tree leaning out from the bank makes the little girl think of a bride, all in white, with a lovely misty veil. What was the girl why was the girl ashamed when she left asylum? The little girl was ashamed when she left the asylum because she had to wear this horrid old Vincy dress. In what way did the little girl think differently about the merchant who donated yards of Vincy? The little girl thought the merchant donated yards of Vincy out of the kindness of his heart, while others thought he gave them because he could not sell them. How did the little girl feel when she got onto the train, and how did she cheer herself up? The little girl felt everybody must be looking at her and pitying her when she got onto the train. She cheered herself up by imagining she had on the most beautiful pale blue silk dress and a big hat, all flowers and nodding plums, and a gold watch and kid gloves and boots. Why did the little girl feel living on the island was like her imagination coming true? The little girl felt living on the island was like her imagination coming true because it was the bloomiest place and she had always heard that Prince Edward Island was the most beautiful place. What made the child think the world is an interesting place? The child think the world is an interesting place as there were so many things to find about it. Question number B. Write one word from the passage that means the same as the following. The best possible, ideal, complete happiness, bliss. Gave to those who need, donate. Walking around an area as if you're hunting something, prowl. Okay? So with this we complete one passage. I hope you have got an idea how to understand the passage and how to find out the answers from the passage and how to write it in your own words. Keep learning. Stay happy. Thank you.